trans people, those people that got mad.
The wokesters?
Yeah,
those
the people that got
specifically.
mad. That's what
Those specifically were never
to.
supposed to be the audience. They were never like, yeah, you guys are never gonna get it. Get out of here.
Stumbling on it themselves is different than
That's
being
different.
told by your own people that this is bad.
Oh,
Someone
you're gonna
messed
hate
up.
this.
Yeah.
Like, that's your introduction for me? Oh, he's not like, hey, he's a very funny comic. Please welcome one of the greats. Not that. Just,
What I was
you're gonna
say,
hate this.
What I was going to say is there's definitely people that are going to be upset, whether they're right or wrong.
Yeah.
And they want to have a conversation with it, that's great. But there's also people that take advantage of a moment, and they're grifters. And those people take advantage of a moment, they expand on whatever he said and make it sound way worse than it really was. It was really like kind of almost like a love letter to his friend who died.
Yeah.
You know, was it historically accurate? Like, was it like, he's trying to make it funny.
Right.
Yeah.
Telling jokes.
Obviously.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean,
he's an artist and he can do whatever the fuck he
yeah,
wants.
and I'm sure, you know, I mean, it's funny. It's a funny fucking story. It's not transphobic. It's not. So if you say like having a conversation about someone, like that's a phobia of that person. Like, are we gonna do that with everything, or are we just gonna do that with some things? You know, are we gonna do that with all genders and all races and all? Is everything gonna be off limits to talk about it? So what is off limits? What stuff? What stuff specifically?
Nothing. It's up to the artist to figure out what he wants to talk about. You can just not like it. You can be like, well, I didn't like this version of whatever.
Here's
like,
the thing about the Chappelle special. They don't really generally talk about what he actually said.
No.
They're not quoting anything.
They're quoting their memories of a headline that they already heard.
Well,
they've never even seen it.
Calling it transphobic, but there's not like a bit that gets singled out where people say, oh, that line. If you like, and most of that would be out of context anyway, but there's not a bit. Like, do you remember when Sam Kinison, there was a lot of controversy with Kinison when he was coming up, and Dice Clay in particular. Like, and Dice Clay got banned off of
SNL.
Because didn't he
MTV.
MTV, that's right. Because didn't he do, like, period jokes or something?
Pope.
The Pope.
Ooh.
No. Sorry, Sinead. That was Sinead O'Connor did the Pope, and they didn't want her on. Dice was like something terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something awesome. I mean.
They banned him for life.
Yeah, off MTV. I think he cursed. No, because you could curse on MTV back then.
No, it was like, what did...
Fucking Rolling Stone.
Andrew Dice Clay banned for life.
1989.
1989. Okay, this was, I was a year into comedy. I had a point, but I've lost my point.
He went ahead and debuted two of his famous dirty nursery rhymes. Including Rockabye Baby on the Treetop and Your Mother's a Whore, I Ate Your Pop. And said two of George Carlin's 7 dirty words you can never say on television for good measure. Oh, he went in with a fucking plan to piss these people off.
Of course.
Nice.
He's Dice Clay.
Let me ask you a question, though. That Chappelle thing. All the people being against Chappelle.
Yeah.
Why do you think you heard so much about a tiny, tiny amount of people who were saying that?
Because it's an interesting conversation to everybody else. It's gossip.
It's almost nobody, and you hear tons about it.
It's the most famous comic on the planet.
Yeah.
It's a red-hot social issue that's in the news every day.
And so you're more interested in that than the 99% of people. You hear more about that than 99% of people who go like, yep, another great fucking funny special. You don't hear that. They push this shit in front of you.
Yes.
Instead of that shit. So now you're thinking there's this attack going on. And it's just not and then everybody's weighing it, and everyone starts to feel something about something. That's the shit that should be illegal. They're making everything you see is curated to make you the maddest.
Right, but they're
I see that Chappelle shit too, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, they got me again. I shouldn't even know they're mad.
But they're doing things that'll get people to pay attention, right? They're writing articles that'll get people to pay attention. Their outrage is directed at getting people to pay attention because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
The money is the more people read the article, the more money it generates.
Gia Tolentano wrote Jezebel, and she said, people used to get mad at me for the articles I wrote, not knowing I was instructed by my editor to write articles that would make people upset. Like,
I would have issue with that. This is why. If you have a name, your name's Ari Shaffir, and you write an article, and that article pisses me the fuck off, and then I read an article about you later, and this article is different. This article is just you being you. Like, you should almost do it under a different name.
Yeah, or like there's a bubble of everything you do.
Well, if you're gonna be, if it's just a little art project, that's what it is.
Well, like if Woody Allen plays
money.
music, like he does, a separate thing from his normal thing, he can still go by Woody Allen.
No, Arnie, no. This is totally different.
What do you mean?
Because
some things that you don't want your reputation associated with in an opinion, then maybe use a pen name.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Totally, sure. You should be allowed to be yourself somehow.
Well, yeah, but if you're being told, I want you to piss people off, but that's not your honest intent, like what you would want to do. So when you're writing it, you're not really writing it as you're writing it as it's a job, right? You're looking at it as like a thing. You're gonna pretend you're a dick about something, or you're gonna pretend you're outraged about something. You're gonna piss people off. You're gonna say something a little over the edge outrageous.
Or just telling about something outrageous someone else did. You're reporting these stories like, oh, so-and-so is the worst, not just did something a little wrong. So-and-so is the worst, because it's getting you mad, isn't he terrible? Here's what else he did bad. Instead of like, you know, the New York Times story, leaving out all the consensual stuff.
If you are a person who's a writer and you have a name, like if your name's Ari Shaffir, and I know that when I read an Ari Shaffir column, I'm gonna get his thoughts and his feelings. But if you're bullshitting because your editor told you to, because you're being paid to, you should probably have an extra name from that.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's not real journalism or anything, but like, it's gross.
What's not? Is it journalism? It's editorialism, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
probably.
It's like journalism is stories. These are just like, part of it is their take on things.
But also, so those negative ones are what you're gonna end up. You and me are gonna end up seeing more. So that we just get a version of the world that everybody's hateful and angry at each other. You don't see the 99% of. You ever get mad at a comic? You're like, what? They took that stance online? And then you go like, I haven't seen any of their like jokes though in like a long time. So why are they showing me this one? Because they're like, oh, that one pissed off Tony. Let me show it to Ari and Joe. I bet they'll be pissed off with it too.
Yeah, there's definitely that, but there's also like the network of people that you follow. They'll start sharing things, and then you start finding things, and we gravitate towards
the negative for sure. Yeah, look at this. Do you believe this person said this?
We love
true.
Yeah, it gets pushed forward. We live in that world now.
Yeah,
and lingering over something feels like it would be more of a negative thing sometimes than a positive thing, right? You know what I mean? Because you're staring at something dumbfounded. Like if a comedian who I'm not that close with says something stupid and some weird political take, I do find myself reading it like 15 times. You know,
I try to fight it now by going, hey, that's a comedian. I'm sure I can find something funny. Like, what would they mean? Maybe they weren't being, although the social stuff is like.
I mean, it really is a little weird, though. You know both L.A. and New York. I mean, you can admit it is sort of crazier than ever what's going on out there, especially with the comedians.
Comics? Yeah. It's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you weighing in on some? You're a fucking top shelf writer in the world,
right?
And you're weighing in seriously on a subject?
It's been freaking me out for a while.
Well, they feel like it's part of the job of like, you know, having these conversations with the people in your tribe to let everybody know you should keep working with me because I am on the right page. I am there with you, and I am a proponent of social justice.
Every agency in Hollywood sent letters to their fucking clients saying, hey, after George Floyd, like, we here at CAA, we here at William Morris, we here at ITM, we stand for social justice. That's what we've always had. Fucking black clients and shit like that. You should know that if you're with us, you're on the right side of history. They all fucking did that. Because you have to at that moment go, oh, not me though, right?
Well, there was a fucking fever pitch in the air.
God. And so that everybody does that. Every once in a while you fall prey to it online and you post a tirade. You ever see a multi-part tweet? Yeah. You're like, I can't get this all in. Like, don't say it at all.
You know, we have to take into consideration, we're really fortunate that we have podcasts. Because in a podcast, you can express yourself in the exact way you would in any other way, in real life.
Still, it's rushed. Yeah, you're right, but still, it's rushed. You see everybody, you ever see podcast clips where it's like 6 of the same story? So-and-so and so-and-so were fighting. And then you see like Schulz and Dylan and Godfrey and like a bunch of others like, oh, you all have a reaction to this. Because they're all trying to like, let me get our reaction quick. Nobody stops and thinks about it. You know how Henry Rollins...
but it's things to talk about.
Yeah, I know, but you know how Henry Rollins said, like, it takes 6 months before he starts writing about stuff? He lets it set in his mind.
Right.
Valuing the opposite of that. If you get if you have a fucking, I don't know, Houston fucking whatever take now, it's like, now, who cares?
Right.
He's like, well, I've had a month to think it out. And you're like, nah, nobody cares anymore. It values the quick response. And that's the world we're in now. That's what's getting